Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and redo a video that we tried to do yesterday. Some things kind of went screwy and Facebook ate it. But I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of do shout outs to some of my cast and crew, especially following this last weekend of filming. It was really exciting. I just kind of wanted to tell all of you lovely folks of the interwebs and followers here on Facebook about them. So I'm going to do that. All right, for starters, we have Dylan. Dylan is my first AD. I am not the easiest person in the world to work with, so I burned through 6 first ADs before I got to him. It was a treat, let me tell you that. But as soon as I got him on the project, I've been wearing all these different hats, doing way more than I'd ever wanted to or needed to or hoped to do. But Dylan came on, the project stepped up, and instantly things just came together. He took a lot of that on, and he just absolutely made everything easier. Kind of a real game changer for me, one of the first real game changers for me. So that was a shout out to Dylan. And guys, as you're tuning in, hey Diana, hey Sean, feel free to comment, like, whatever. If you have any individual experiences with some of these people, feel free to comment in the comment section. Don't be afraid to hit the like button. Share this to your own pages as it's going, things like that. So yeah, that's Dylan. Sexy mother effer, because I can't say that live, even though I do on set sometimes. Anyway, all right, next we have Belinda. So Belinda got on this project pretty early. She's playing a character that doesn't get a lot of screen time up front, and in fact, just a blip of one scene. But she's really genuinely impressed me from the beginning. She came on board, got really excited. We had went out for coffee and tea a couple times to talk about her character, talk about her story that we're building behind her character. And she was instantly hooked and really, really excited to be on board. And so as a result, she's really kind of stepped up in a lot of other ways too. She's composed and wrote lyrics for a song that's a leitmotif in this production that you guys will be hearing a lot of. She's working with her band to do other recordings of it. It's pretty spectacular, and she's brought a unique degree of professionalism and excitement to the project. So Belinda, you're great. Next we have Andy. Andy is really, like, the more and more we thought about it, she is my associate producer, and also covers a lot of the social media with Hannah. She has stepped up, came on real late. Nobody even knew who the crap she was, and she just kind of came in and started bossing people around, telling them to do stuff. It was awesome. With her and her experience, we've done a lot of really good work. She's landed and secured a lot of different things for the production that we would not have had otherwise. Access to some locations that we would not have had. Sets, things like that. She's absolutely done phenomenal work on and off camera. She actually was one of the council members as well in our council scene for the summit. So that was exciting. We had a couple people bail last minute, so she stepped up and found her way to the council. That's the way it works on set some days, where you're just kind of snagged and thrown in there. We're actually going to have another example of that in a minute whenever we talk about Diana, who's still watching. I love you so much. We're going to talk about you. Anyway, so yeah. From there, then we have a really unique story. We have Nicoletta. She is an interesting character in the show and off the show. I remember her coming into audition. She's playing the role of Noor, and I remember spending inordinate amounts of time trying to find someone that I just loved for the role, trying to find people who would actually fit it and do well. And so I opened up this casting call on Backstage, and I got a whole bunch of hits, but none of them were really feeling right, and I wanted to keep it local to Utah because this isn't a paid project. The pilot isn't, and I wanted to really kind of not put that much risk on anybody. But then little Nico comes along and auditions, and I'm sitting there in the basement, the place I was staying, and after it was over, I just sat there for a minute and went, dang it, I need to have her. And so I talked to her again, made sure that she knew that it was a volunteer project and that, there might be a chance for pay in the future if the series takes off. But right now it was just out-of-pocket expenses, and she just buckled down, drove all the way out here from Florida, and has been here working on the project. She stepped up on set in a lot of different ways whenever we, needed it. And after this last weekend of brutal filming, which I'm going to say that with several other people as we're running through this, she kept together, stayed positive, and helped me lock it down in a couple other areas that she didn't need to step up for, but she did. And so, Nico, thank you. You're magical. Next, we have one of my favorite people, if I can have favorite. You're all my favorites. I love you equally, except for Colin. Colin is my writer. He is beautiful. He's beautiful. So, the story with Colin, we'd originally written the script once. We ran this last summer, tried to do some things, and it went horribly awry. But that's still fun in the nature of the game. Anyway, I talked to Colin. He was in one of my script writing classes earlier, and I said, "Hey, man, I need a writer who can lock down a lot of this stuff and take my ideas the way I see them and make them and communicate them into the script." And he's like, "Yeah, I can do it." He had reservations at the beginning, and then throughout writing the script, because it's a massive undertaking. I mean, I've got the whole lore of the entire show, the seasons, and all this stuff right behind my computer. If you guys were following us on Instagram as well, you'd be able to see that. Which, on that note, again, whenever we get to 100, I think that was right. Yeah, 100 followers on Instagram and 200 on Facebook, we're going to have 2 separate drawings for some sweet swag. It'll be beautiful. I hate that word so much, but we have some, and it's going to be great. Anyway, so back to Colin. Yeah, so he has just blown me away on and off set as well. Offset, again, he's my writer and created this excellent script that everyone has been just really impressed with. But more than that, when we're on set, he's also my scriptee. So he's there watching continuity. He's there taking care of all the stuff I should be paying attention to but can't. I mean, there's been more than one occasion where he's like, Bjorn, that wouldn't have happened that way. This needs to be this way. The layout, based on where we are, we have to change our angle on this. Just calling me out on a bunch of things that I would have spaced. I mean, sure, there are going to be some continuity issues. Those always happen in any production because things go screwy, things go awry. Definitely happened last weekend on some of our biggest parts. But you know what? It's still part of the fun. But Colin has been there, and I mean, absolutely impressed me. And so if you have not had a chance to work with him, work with Colin. He's amazing. Okay. All right. And for those of you still tuning in, feel free to share this on your respective pages. Try to get more people interested because I want to spread the story of you. I want to talk about each and every one of you guys because you're amazing. So, moving down the line, we have Clayton. Clayton is a wonderful person. I've yet to actually work with him on this set. He was involved last year as well. We're going to be shooting his stuff here at the beginning of August. But Clayton is a unique individual as well. I love him to death. He's a great guy. He brings a unique level of professionalism to a lot of what he does. He does a lot of theater as well. And so he's got accents down. He can play with the characters brilliantly. He's playing the character Skeg, who's this fun little mercenary that we run into while at the Miller in the pilot episode. The Miller is this little pub bar thing that Dorian's made. and we love him. He's got a unique character, and he comes back with a pretty significant role in the second episode, which, if this goes well, you guys will have a chance to see him there as well. Anyway, yeah, so Clayton, he's a friend of mine. We were also flatmates for a bit. I remember talking to him about it and getting him involved in the first project, which, again, that one went beautifully. And I'm not going to spoil the whole story, Clayton, but needless to say, one day of filming when things were absolutely going insane, like we had motorcycle flip up on top of him and just wild. And yet, despite that, he is still here. He came back and he's excited to be working on this project again. So this time, everything is going beautifully. We haven't had any people flipping motorcycles on themselves, so that's good. But yeah, Clayton, you're great. All right, next is Diana. So Diana, still tuning in. Hope so. I want to take a second to talk about you. So, similar to Clayton, I've known Diana for a little bit. She was not involved in the first project. However, I did talk to her about this one, and she's playing the character Tierfina. And this last weekend was her big scene. And we will have another one whenever we do the Miller again coming up at the beginning of August, but her first one was this weekend. And we had some mishaps with one of our other roles, and we ended up splicing two characters together. And I approached Diana and I said, "Hey, Diana, you're wonderful, you're amazing, please don't hate me, but are you willing to take on this extra role here and step up, because we've had some issues come up, and it's either that or we don't film today." And she goes, "Yeah, I got it." She had never read the lines, she hadn't prepped for them at all, but there she was, willing to step up and play ball. And not only did she just completely knock it out of the park, I mean, she just genuinely impressed me, and it was a pleasure to watch her work. She did very, very well, and I mean, just beautiful. She's beautiful. She did beautifully. It was just a magical experience. And I'm so excited for you guys to have a chance to see her there as well. And then watch her character develop in the future. Can't give you spoilers about that. But anyway, it's thank you, Diana. You've gone way above and beyond. And it's been a genuine pleasure to work with you. And again, guys who are tuning in, feel free to comment if you've got any stories with these people, any unique experiences. Feel free to share them. Let the world know. I mean, if you want to just sit there and call me a schmuck, you can do that too. But yeah, it's probably true. If that's your experience with me, if that's your story. But no, these people are amazing, and I want everybody to really get a feel for just how spectacular they are and how much this project wouldn't happen without them. So, moving on. Next, we have Tua. So Tua is a spectacular human being. He is my little personal ball of energy that emits light and saves the day. That's kind of the best way to describe him. He's a magical individual, because he just produces light. He's effervescent. He motivates people. He's playing the role of Kalo, which, to get the little story back there about Kalo, well, let's do Tua. So Tua came in originally to audition for the role of Drust, which that was, first of all, kind of a little wild thing. We cast Peter, who we'll talk about later. With that, yeah, Tua came in. He did really, really well. I was super impressed with him. He connected with the role. He just didn't quite have the look we were going for, which really bothers me. I hate it when I have to do that. But as a result, I turned to Colin and the other people there that were there with me. Turned to Colin and I said, "Man, we need to have him. I want him on my set. I need to have Tua somewhere." And so that had given us the opportunity then to look back at the character Kalo, who I had just kind of cut in my mind and wasn't going to use because we didn't really have the manpower to do it. And I would, I was having a hard enough time filling roles originally, but I needed Tua. And so we worked him in. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of screen time in this first episode. He'll get a lot more in the future. But I just said, hey, man, we didn't pick you for dress, but would you be willing to do Caleb? He absolutely jumped on board, and he has been a constant power source for the entire crew this whole time. I mean, I know I sure as crap would be struggling way more without him, because anytime I'm just feeling the weight of this whole production, Tua kind of comes up, knocks me on the shoulder, says, hey, man, you got this. You can do this. I believe in you. I believe in this project. And he said, you know, if he didn't, he wouldn't be on board with this, because, again, these people aren't getting paid right now. Like, none of us, we're all throwing money into it, and none of us are seeing it returned. And he's still willing to do it, you know, because he believes in this project, and he is just amazing. He's just an amazing guy. And so, Tua, I love you, man. You're amazing. Thank you. Thanks for all that you've done. Your life story is amazing, and I wish I could share all of that. That's, you know, not quite my place to do it, and you are just a spectacular human being. Thank you so much for being on my project. Moving from there, though, we do have Sean. Sean, I hope you're still tuning in. You beautiful person, you. So, Sean is a fun story, too. He's been on the project technically longer than anybody but myself. So, Sean is my sound guy. The story behind that is I was sitting in a... first time I even met him, he was sitting behind me in a digital media's essentials class. I didn't know who he was, didn't know anybody, didn't care to know anybody. But I got up in front of the class at the end of it one day, and I pitched this idea of Midlanders to the class and said, hey guys, I'm looking for volunteers to do stuff. I have a ton of positions open. If you're interested at all anywhere, come talk to me. And Sean walked up and he said, actually, I think Sean was one of two people that contacted me, yeah. The other was a scriptwriter who, but, you know, it's whatever. So Sean came up to me and said, hey, I haven't done any sound work. I think you may not even have, he may not have even taken a single class at that time for sound, but he said, I love it. I want to do this with my life. Can I be your sound guy? And I said, yeah, Sean, you're my sound guy. And so instantly he was right on board and like learning everything he could. He was teaching himself Pro Tools and all of the other fancy sound equipment things. He was learning. He was doing stuff. And so for the last time we tried to do Midlanders, he was on and was shadowing my mixer, my sound guy. And he was doing boom op, and he was learning everything he could. He did very, very well. So the second time around, after he, you know, purchased a bunch of equipment, he absolutely has just blown me away. So much so that I, in the interim between the first iteration and the second one of Midlanders, I've worked on a podcast with him. Any kind of commercial video work I do, he's my sound guy. I call him up, I say, hey, Sean, I'm doing this. Do you want to do it? And he's like, being Sean, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, let's do it. And so 90% of anything that I ever need, he's there for me all in every time. And so it's amazing. Like, just having the chance to work with him and watch him grow from knowing nothing to just being our on-set professional. He's an expert. It's great. It's great. And Sean, you're my best friend ever. Probably. Mostly, definitely. I love you to death. Okay, so Sean, thank you so much for being a part of this production, and it's been a pleasure working with you. Next, we have Jolie, who is another story. She's the next one, second longest person on this project. Jolie was originally she was originally cast as Drifa for the first iteration, and if you guys go onto our GoFundMe, which is gofundme.com/Midlanders, you can check out a little bit more about the history of us. And Jolie is standing right next to me, looking like an idiot with my motorcycle behind me, just to show that she's been here for a really long time. So when things were kind of imploding around the first iteration of Midlanders, there were some really exciting things that had happened in Jolie's life. She got married and pregnant, and so she had a baby. And with the second iteration, you know, she still really, really wanted to be involved. And, you know, I said, hey, you got a kid, let's not do anything super incredibly intense for you, because life. but she still really wanted to be a part of it, and so she stepped up into several roles. First was as craft services, and then second is wardrobe, because I had had a person lined out for wardrobe for almost a year who had just promised us that she was on board, she was excited to do it, really, really talented in her area. And then about 3 months before we were supposed to start doing pre-production work and wardrobe and all of that, she ghosted us. And so I'm in like disarray and panic, freaking out, don't know what I'm going to do because I'm completely wardrobe illiterate. And Jolie just kind of steps up and she's like, dude, chill, it'll be okay, I'll take over. And she has. And other than Stephen Colucci's, and I think they may have even talked to each other at one point, she absolutely has had a hand in, if not entirely created, all of the wardrobe that you guys see on screen. And she's done a phenomenal job. And it's been really, really excellent working with her. She's a beautiful pain in the butt sometimes. Any production meeting that we have, she'll smart off and give me grief, which is good because my ego needs it every once in a while. But yeah, so Jolie is great, and I'm really happy to have her on board. And she was a star in front, and it's beautiful that she was willing to go from limelight to just a powerhouse behind the scenes without actually getting any facial on-camera recognition. And so, but yeah, thank you, Jolie. You're amazing, and you're a large portion of why this is still going. So next we have Calvin. Calvin is, I hope, still tuning in. He is the location manager, really. He's been behind a lot of that. He was originally on our writing team, and then when we refreshed some things, we found his niche in that in locations, and he has stepped up and played ball in a lot of this. Our desert scene that you guys will see, that was secured by him. He talked to the landowner, got us permission to do it. He had even talked to the manager of some BLM properties out near the salt flats on the other side of I-80, I think is what it is, and got us this camp space completely reserved for any time we needed it. He built these relations with these higher-up governmental people, you know, and actually formed a relationship with them to the point where they trust us enough to be out there and do it. And so he's done really well. He's really kind of genuinely impressed me in a lot of ways with that. And so thank you, Calvin. You're great. Laura, you're someone I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you're still tuned in, but I saw you. Laura is a fresh face. She's assistant wardrobe in a lot of ways, but also is helping with like hair and makeup on set. She came out of nowhere and has stepped up as well. I think Dylan found her for us. She showed up in a meeting, was like, yeah, I'd be willing to help, and then has. Like, she's been on some of these last times that we've been shooting. She was like the one who stayed and helped with everything, made sure everything else was going well and flowing in terms of last looks and fixing wardrobe and making sure everybody gets dressed the way they need to. And she's done very, very well, so thank you, Laura. Next, the other person I wanted to talk about is Andrew McCord, who is marvelous, and my DP, so to explain what he actually does on set. He has done brilliantly as my director of photography. He has taken all of these like imaginings that I have in my mind, these ways that I want to take stuff, and gone, all right, yeah, we can do it, and he turns them into a reality. And with that, he genuinely is the actualizer of my ideas, because without him, I'm just spitting all of this information out. People are just being washed over by it. And he goes, no, I know how we can shoot that. Let's set it up this way. We can do coverage here. I'll play with the dolly, and he's got an awesome setup. He's made a lot of it himself, and it works beautifully. You would never know. He's this incredible creative problem solver, and without him, I would very much be screwed big time, because I would have to be working all of these different things as well, and he is giving me the freedom to actually focus on more of the creative side. And sometimes I'm like, hey, Andrew, let's do that, and he's like, Bill, that's going to look stupid, let's not do that. Or, you know, he's got an idea that I don't see, and I just say, okay, I will trust you. And then as I'm reviewing footage, he absolutely just he proves that it was right. Like he knows what he's doing, and the simple fact that I can trust him to do it and to do it well is incredibly freeing and takes a huge weight off my shoulders. So thank you, Andrew. You are beautiful, and if you guys have not worked with Andrew, get him on your sets. He's great. Next, so we have one of our fun actors, and just again, for all of you guys still tuning in, if you've got any experiences with these people, unique stories, type it in the comments. Be sure to like it, send little hearts or whatever, whenever it's someone that you have good experiences with. It's all good. And in the meantime, for those of you tuning in, check out our GoFundMe. It's gofundme.com/Midlanders. Donate if you will, because these people, while they power it behind this on this side of the screen, you guys also have the power to make this happen. You can power the pilot. So let's move to our next one, though. Mackenzie. Mackenzie is a little spitfire. I love Mackenzie. She's playing Drifa. So she is one of the main characters as well. Got a very, very beautiful relationship with Beork. But Mackenzie, whenever I got her on board, she worked with me on a little short film that I was doing as a school project, and that was god-awful, is the best way to put it, the way it turned out anyway. But while we were doing that, while we were shooting, I had talked to her and kind of pitched the idea of Midlanders to her, and she said she was really, really interested. So I said, hey, whenever we do it, come back and audition for me. And so I shot her an email or a text, I don't remember, to come back whenever we were doing it, and she did. And so she auditioned for Drifa and nailed the role, like did really, really well, really impressed me, and I went, okay, I want you playing Drifa, and she did, and she has. And gosh, this last weekend, to really communicate exactly how much she's stepped up. Our last weekend was horrible, like candidly. We filmed or were on set for about 30 hours. Which that's not supposed to happen, but it did because we were pushing for things and things were going wrong. But we filmed Mackenzie, Drust and Beork, Drifa, Drust and Beork's fight scene, but specifically Mackenzie and Peter's, and they're out there on these salt flats, little deserty thing, rolling around in 98 plus degree heat with the sun beating down on them, and just over and over and over and over and running these things. And I mean, we were all dying, but they're out there like fighting in it, and just her willingness to keep pushing through. And because she had some stuff going on in her life at that point in time, it needed to check out way earlier in that day, but she stayed and pushed through it. And that, all of that just genuinely like was moving. I was incredibly impressed with her performance, her willingness to go above and beyond. And Mackenzie's an amazing actress. She's done a lot of other work as well, and it is an honor to have her on my set and be working with her, every weekend, and seeing her throughout the week and stuff. She is just brilliant. And so thank you, Mackenzie, for being Drifa, and I'm excited to see you, really fill the shoes of this role and take it to beautiful places. So thank you again. All right, so next we have Sherry. Sherry is played, because we just finished all of her stuff, Ambrosia. So Ambrosia's got to be one of my favorite characters. She's one of the Summit Council, and I mean, I think the way we describe her in the script is beautiful like a spider, and Sherry absolutely has that. She can really play up that just natural elegance, but quiet power, and she has done wonders in that role. Took it in a direction that I couldn't even. It was just so much more than I could have even hoped for, and she's done very, very well there. Excuse me, and I'm super excited to see her continue with that through the seasons, because she, like Ambrosia and Sherry, that combination, making it all the way to the end of the show, is going to be fantastic. And again, another very, very talented actress. I've got powerhouse acting talent. These people that are on my set are just brilliant. And so it's been a pleasure working with her, seeing how she has done and already grown, and I'm excited to see that keep going. Yeah. So next we have Mark. Mark is my props guy and weapons master. He is, Sean's friend. That's how I met him, and he's the one that provided me with all those fun, fancy weapons that you guys have seen. The past one, he has consistently stepped up all over the place, gone above and beyond with what he's done. And I mean, this last weekend, so we filmed Saturday and Sunday, so 2 days, 30 hours. Yeah. So right after we shot on Saturday, I said, "Hey, Mark, I need a knife that can retract for our fight scene tomorrow because Dreef gets stabbed in the leg. Spoilers, sorry. But yeah, in this fight scene, I said, I need it. Do we have it? Can we get something? Can you make something?" And he said, "I'll see what I can do." And lo and behold, 5 o'clock the next morning, which meant that, from where he was coming from, he had to be leaving at like 3 in the morning. So in that space between when we wrapped to the morning, like less than 6 hours almost, it felt like for some of us, he did it. He pulled it off. I don't even know how the crap he did it. And there we were with it on the scene, being able to make this happen because of Mark. And he regularly does stuff like that where I just say, "Hey, I need this," or "Can you do this?" or "This is, I know it's a last minute change, but can we tweak it and do this instead?" He always goes, "See what I can do. I think I got it. Yeah, we can do that." And every time he makes it happen. Mark, you are wonderful, and we would very much, again, be screwed without you. So thank you for being part of this project. Thank you for being my props guy. I hope I can keep using you as my props guy, get you your pyrotechnics license, all that fun stuff, and see what we can do. But all right, moving on from there, we have Peter. So Peter is playing Drust. He's who we actually selected for Drust. And we've done some filming with him, and as I said, with talking about Mackenzie, we shot Drust's fight scene, like his most labor-intensive stuff this last weekend, and Peter absolutely stepped up. He impressed me. He kept pushing to get it all done and make it look good, and he's done well. He takes direction well. He learns on set. He's just really, really done everything that I could have ever asked for and more. While we were shooting the scene on Saturday with Drust interacting with Dorian, which is a marvelous scene, guys. I'm really excited for everybody to see it. He, watching his interactions with him were just beautiful. They were absolutely amazing. The chemistry that he's got with a B, who I'm going to be talking about next, just watching that chemistry, watching the way that they interacted is just spectacular. I mean, I was just giddy sitting in the back of that tent going, "Oh, I love it, And so having Peter there and having his expertise in a lot of even non-pilot-related areas is just fantastic. And he's done really well, and I'm excited for you guys to watch Drust's character arc in this whole story as he grows and develops as well. And Peter, as he gets better acquainted with the role of Drust and just nails it, and just grows and turns this into something amazing. So thank you, Peter, again, for your hard work this past weekend and for everything that you do for this production. Thank you. All right, next we have a B. So a B is the youngest person on our set. I know he doesn't look like it, but he is fresh off the boat, and the story about him is I had someone already locked down for the character Dorian for a long time, and they were filling a whole bunch of other shoots as well. And right before I leave the country to China and gonna be off grid and all of this stuff, they're like, "You know what? I'm done. I'm out." And so I'm mad scrambling. I'm going I can't even communicate with my people. How am I going to get this cast? We're supposed to start production. All of this wild stuff. And so I get back as soon as I get back, we open up these casting calls for the character Dorian, and to be, you know, Mosey's on in there, and candidly surprised the hell out of all of us, and we loved him from the beginning, from the get-go. We loved to be, and having him on my set and watching him learn and grow in the character has been a phenomenal experience, because he's done it, and out of anybody, he takes coaching just perfectly. He wants to learn. I see that hunger for improving his skill and growth, and a desire to be the very best he can be on these screens. And anything I ask of him, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. I got it. I can do this. Yeah, let's do it. And watching that coupled with his unique personality, because he's just lighthearted, he's good people, and having him on my set has been a blessing. You know, he's just a wonderful guy, and I could not have picked a better Dorian. We could not have had a better Dorian. And so, thank you, Abi, and above all else, I'm excited to see you grow and watch your acting on film continue to improve, and just see you become Dorian in all the different ways that are possible. Thank you so much, Abi. You're marvelous. You are genuinely my magical unicorn. Thank you. Magical little pet unicorn. I'm going to keep you on the rope, little chain, keep you in my yard. Garage, maybe, if I'm lucky. Anyway, yeah, I love you, Abi. Okay, so next we have Hazel. Hazel was tuning in. Hope you're still here, man. Hazel was another fun one. He's played, because we've officially wrapped finished work for him. He's playing Lord Vaughn, one of the Summit Council members. Hazel, you came in from the very beginning, really excited about the role. You came auditioned. I love it. We sat down and we talked just about what it was and your experience, and learning your life story and what's brought you to acting was inspiring to me. And then being able to be a part of it and give you the opportunity to, you know, take on this role, especially one that's as large as this one. It has been a pleasure to watch you work and interact with you, and your excitement for this role has just been inspiring for a lot of people. And I'm, you know, pleased to have you on board, and I want to keep working with you, and I'm excited for the chance to do so. So thank you, Hazel. All right, next we've got Steven. So Steven is playing our character Luden. For those of you guys who have seen our little teaser trailer, it's just thrown out there. It's nothing fancy. Which you should have if you guys have been checking out our GoFundMe, which again is gofundme.com/Midlanders. That video, we see Luden, and you see him get shot. Yeah, so the character Luden gets shot within the first scene of the pilot, and I had cast Steven as Luden because he had the look, he had the feel of what I wanted. But I didn't know him. I'd never worked with Steven before. He's done a lot of work. He's a great actor, and I really, really learned that after this. He came in, and the more I got to know him, the more I was just heartbroken by the fact that I shoot his character first. He's the first one to die, and I went, oh, dang it, Steven! I need you somewhere. I need you back somewhere. I have to figure out a way to incorporate him again sometime. But he has just really done beautiful things for this production on and off the set. He claims he's the Michelangelo of PVC pipe, and I've seen that. I mean, he's built little set things for us. He's done a bunch of things. He designed and put together his own wardrobe. Like all of this, he's just like bought a sewing machine just to do it. I mean, like he is so excited about all of it and has done phenomenal work, and it has been an honor and a pleasure to not only work with him, to even be in his company. He is a spectacular actor. You guys really need to like follow his stuff, watch what he's done, and watch as he continues in the acting world. He's just an amazing person and a phenomenal actor. Thank you, Steven, for being on my project. All right, next we have Lindsay. So Lindsay is our makeup artist. Our lead, there, and she does a lot of special effects makeup that you saw, or will see. She's the one who handled the stab wound that this last weekend. She even came out on her birthday on Saturday to do some work in the morning, which was both unexpected and a phenomenal show of her dedication to this project, her willingness to do that. She is spectacular what she does. Any bruising that you're going to see, any of the injuries, she handles that and is done very, very well. And she's such a quiet little person, but is just amazing and very talented. And having her on my set is great. She's always willing to give it, that next level of dedication and commitment. And I've been super impressed with her and her work. So, Lindsay, you're incredibly talented. I want to keep you around. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Thank you. All right, so last person before I wrap this up is Nate. Nate is playing Arthur. I struggled for so long to get an Arthur, and then we had one, and then that didn't work out, and then last minute I was recasting Arthur, and Nate kind of came in and auditioned for a couple different roles, and I want him as my Arthur. I need him. Let's do this. Let's have him in there, and he has brought his own unique flavor and flair to the role. Before, Arthur was just kind of this little cowardly nobody that kind of just everybody naturally almost disgustingly pitied kind of thing. It was this weird thing, but Nate has brought this flair to him that is marvelous and has really added depth to his character, and I'm excited to see how that shines and continues to grow with him as he continues down through the story. Again, that's hiding behind my laptop. You guys can't see it, sorry. Really to see how he grows as a character and how Nate fills the role and turns it into way more than I could have even hoped for. Because it's not just a look. It's not just typecasting. He is doing beautiful things with the character. And so thank you, Nate. It was a pleasure working with you. I'm excited to do a little bit more work with you before this pilot episode is over, and really excited to see how things go through the rest of the series. So thank you, Nate. Thank you, everybody that I didn't mention. You're all doing great work here, too. And if you're tuning in, feel free to share this video. I'm about to wrap it up, and just as another reminder, whenever we reach 200 likes on Facebook and then 100 followers on Instagram, we're going to do 2 separate drawings for fun things, awesome stuff. It'll be great. Be sure to check out our GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/Midlanders. Donate there if you can. Even if you can't, please share the link with everybody. Let everybody know what's going on. You are wonderful, wonderful people. All of you, thank you so much, and I'm excited for this production, and I'm excited to see things continue, and I hope you are too. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.